Hello everyone, Simsy Claire here and welcome back to my channel. So this week we are starting off with a vacation home speed build. Now this vacation home is a little different. It is two connected huts basically, and I figured one would be for like the main family, the family who owns the huts, and then the other one is if they bring like the grandparents along, or if they bring friends or like other family members. It's kind of just like a guest house. So the house that we're starting with here is the main home. Now the main home is going to end up with 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and quite a large living and dining area. And then the conjoined home ends up with 1 bedroom and 1 bathroom. I thought about adding a basement to that one so that way you could have an extra bedroom, but I just decided against it. I figured that they probably wouldn't invite too many people on their vacation at one time, and if they did, it would most likely be a family. So I figured, since there is a couch in that home, I figured that it could even be like a pull-out couch, even though we don't have those in the game, so it could technically sleep more than just the 2 that would fit in the bedroom. But that was my idea anyway. You can also probably, if we're being honest, take out the double bed and switch it into probably 3 single beds, so you could always just make that like the kids' hut, and then kids would sleep in there, and then the main hut is for the adults. So that's totally up to you. I decided to leave it because I really liked the planning that I was doing, the color schemes and all that. So I did decide to leave how it ended up. But going over here, this is going to be the walkway. Now right now it has this flat roof. I do end up changing that. You saw it in the screenshot at the beginning. It ends up being one of those lattice roofs that I love to do so much. It seemed to fit better, and originally I was just going to do like offshoots. Like I was going to just like have like these hanging pieces off of the flat roof, but then that just looked really dumb. So I decided just to stick with the lattice altogether. And then going on here, this is going to be the start of the back patio. So there is this area, and then I do a path, and then the path leads to a pool. So there's 2 back patio areas, but this one is just going to house a fire pit, but I give them a lot of chairs, so it ends up taking the majority of the space. But as you can see, this is where I'm starting to do the lattice pattern, and at first I don't connect any of the lines because I'm trying to keep the roof there, but this is where I decide just to connect everything and delete the roof. And I was having a lot of trouble with this walkway because initially I didn't want it to be raised like the rest of the house, but I couldn't get the stairs to fit the way that I wanted them to without it being raised. So I did decide just to delete the stairs and raise it up to the same level as the house, and I think it ends up looking really good in the end. Like I said, I wish I could have figured out a better way to do it, but the stairs just were not wanting to work with me today. So that's that. And then going back here, you saw I real quickly placed a swing set, and then I'm building that path that leads all the way to the back. So I figured, even though your Sims can't actually swim in that water back there, I figured that if it was real life, they would definitely have a path leading to the water, and this area would probably have a dock with a boat. Not just that dinghy that's sitting there, but like an actual boat, or maybe like kayaks or paddle boards or something. So I definitely wanted the path to extend to the edge of the property. And then this is where the pool area is going to go. So it starts off like this, but then I realized I couldn't fence in the entire area because I put it on the very edge of the lot. So I do end up deleting it and moving everything over just so I could fit the fence around the whole area. And I go back in later and add a couple of different decorations to that area too, just like some chairs and a table, I believe, to have some outdoor dining. And then I'm adding in all of the terrain paint to do the landscaping. This lot, honestly, the houses took up more space than I thought, so I didn't have to do what I usually do and fudge a lot of space and fill it up with landscaping. So I was really happy about that. I think the landscaping definitely looks more natural just because of the shapes of the home and like the different, how I filled up the backyard with that whole patio area. And I added that tree. I don't know if you saw it. It came in the debug menu of outdoor retreat. I don't know where that tree is in the world though. It has like these like lights hanging from it, and at first I thought it was the tree from movie Hangout because that one has lanterns, but this one has different like fairy lights and like huge bulbs of light, and I had no idea that that tree existed, but I decided to place it back there, and I ended up placing some benches and stuff too. That way they could like sit out there and read or sit underneath the lights, have like a romantic evening or something in case like the parents came here without the kids. That was just kind of my thinking. And then you saw I placed the fire pit. That was just to kind of plan out the different spaces. And then going on into the interior, I do place the stairs here. Now, unfortunately, because of the way I did the roof, the stairs couldn't go right against the wall. So I did have to build my own little makeshift wall there. But it turns out okay because I end up putting this cool bar area beneath the stairs. So I was really happy about that. And then I use this clear stairwell railing, and then I also end up adding some columns. You'll see me do it in a minute because my camera starts freaking out, but I do add some columns because here I decide that I want to do a loft area. So I do block off this entire, well, not the entire top area, but I draw the rooms first to kind of figure out how I need the layout to work. And then I close off that little landing area right there, and then I end up deleting it. And I do delete that room. Yeah, you see me do it right there because initially that was going to be the bathroom, but if I deleted the floor there, then obviously I wouldn't have been able to keep the bathroom there because you would have been able to see right through it. So this is where I put the columns because I had to, in order to delete the floor there, I had to extend the fencing over into the empty airspace basically, and obviously that's not possible. So I did add some columns just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And then going into here, this is the entranceway area, so I wanted this to definitely be more of like an affluent family's vacation home, not as rundown. That's why I didn't really use any of the outdoor retreat stuff inside, because the outdoor retreat stuff is very rustic. It's very like homey and homemade stuff, and whereas I personally really like that style, I didn't really think that the person living here in this house would be into that. So I definitely went a little bit more clean, a little bit more modern, but I still think it turns out really well. The inside of the house is very light, it's very bright. It almost looks more like it should be like on a beach. I started realizing that about halfway through, but I really liked how it looked, so I decided to keep it. I thought maybe like the family was arguing and like they agreed they wanted a vacation home, and the wife thought that they were getting a beach vacation home because that's the vacation home she wanted, but the husband didn't specify. And they ended up with one in the woods. So when she had to do the interior, she was like, well, joke's on you, I'm gonna decorate this like a beach home anyway. But it's just because there's all these blues and whites, and I don't know, whenever I think of blue and white, I think of beach or like ocean or ships and stuff. So that was just kind of my thinking after I realized that I totally messed up with the theme of the interior. But the living room area came together rather quickly. It's kind of a small, I mean, it's not really that small, but it's kind of tucked away in this corner over here, so it filled up rather nicely. Like I didn't have to do a whole lot of random decorations. And as you can see, I didn't do too much clutter because, as I said, this is a vacation home, so obviously they're not here all the time. I definitely did think though that this was their only vacation home, so they spent most of like their summer months here or something. So there's like picture frames in some different rooms of the house and stuff like that, but there isn't any like kids clutter or like remotes and stuff, because I definitely figured they had someone to come in and clean it while they were away. And then that's the bar area that I was talking about. It came together really quickly. It was just that globe bar that we got from, I think it was Vintage Glamour, and then a couple of shelves with some debug items on it. And then over here in the kitchen, I use the Parenthood kitchen set in white, and then I use the Jungle Adventure refrigerator in blue and the Parenthood stove in blue, just to bring the blue accents over. And then I also end up putting blue stools here at the island as well. And then, as I said, just like with the living room, I do a couple of clutter items, but not that many. It's just enough so that the kitchen doesn't look empty, but not enough that it looks like they live here full time, if that makes sense. And I'm really happy with how the interiors of these houses look. I'm not that thrilled about the exterior just because doing huts aren't really my thing. I much prefer, I mean, you guys know, most of my builds on this channel are large like family homes with like a whole bunch of different exterior elements, and roof pieces and stuff like that. So to me, the huts just kind of looked a little bare, but I was really happy that I went with the huts when I got into the interior. And then also from the back of the house, I think they look really nice. It's just that the front piece of the house, I don't know. It could be the season I was in when I was taking pictures of this. It was like the end of fall, beginning of winter, because that's just how my game was going. And so that could be like the lighting could have been throwing me off. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, going over here, we are going to do this bathroom, and I don't show you the upstairs bathroom just because they're the exact same thing, but I use this Seasons shower and then the Parenthood sink and the tiny living toilet, and then I just place a couple of decorations around, not that many. And then going over into here, this is going to be the dining room area, so I do place a bench at this table. It's not functional. It's a bench and 3 chairs. Now, I figured all you would really need was 3 chairs because technically the house only sleeps 3. So I figured that bench was more for decoration anyway because you didn't need all those seats. So that's why I decided to go with it. And then over here is another little seating area. I figured if it was raining or if like the weather wasn't that friendly that day, they could go sit in there and they could still like see outside and feel like they were outside because of all the windows. But they were inside and they could play like board games, or they could chill with their family for a little bit, sit and read or something like that. Now going up into the upstairs, I was having an issue because of the way the roofs are placed. Some of those exterior walls, you have to change the color on the entire wall. So I was having an issue trying to place the different colors. So that's why there's a brick accent wall in all of these rooms. It's because I wanted the brick wall in the bathroom. And so I had to go ahead and do it in all of the rooms, but I think it ends up looking okay. Like I chose a color scheme that looks really nice with the brick walls. And then this is going to be the parents' room. So it's a very simple, very modern, elegant room. They have this painting of mountains. I figured that they had commissioned someone to paint the view from where their home was, and that's what they got. And then in here is the kids' room. So I do place a little bit more clutter in the kids' room than any other room, but I figured that the kid had kind of almost demanded their own set of things to go into this house, just so the parents probably thought it'd be easier too, just so they didn't have to keep lugging everything from house to house, especially if they spent the majority of the summer there. But I just put a couple of kids decorations and that dollhouse, and then there's a couple of toys I end up placing a little bit later on. I'm not sure I left it in the video, but I do place some more toys in there. And then going on here to this area, this is where I place the fire pit, as you all know because I said that earlier. And I place a couple of decorations over here in the corner just to fill up that space and to keep you from being able to see under the stairs, because the stairs don't have any flooring under them. And then this is going to be the guest hut. So it's the same color scheme as the main hut. It's just a little bit smaller, and I also don't do as much blue. Like, I don't do as many blue accents. I keep it a little bit more minimal, mostly just in this wall, and then I think the couch is blue. Oh, and the appliances. But I end up this house didn't have enough space for an actual dining table. So what I did was I extended the kitchen and I gave them this countertop table, and I just put a couple of high chairs around here, and then I give them a couple of decorations. And I figured that because this could only sleep 2 at max 3 if you had a sim sleep on the couch, then having those 3 seats right there wouldn't really be that big of a deal. And I also figured if they were the guests of the other family, then they would most likely probably be spending most of their time in there with them anyway, or outside. So I didn't really think that not having a full-blown dining table was that big of a deal. But going into here, I just place a couch. It's the same couch as it is in the other house, and then a chair. Again, sticking with the blue and white, just not as heavily on the blue. And I use these nifty knitting rugs. I use some of them in the other house as well. I think that these rugs are so cute, and I haven't gotten to play as much with nifty knitting because I've been building so much. I've been really on like a building kick. I've been playing a little bit with my university sim Zuri. I've introduced her here on this channel before, but mostly I've just been building. So it's kind of fun to see all of these nifty knitting stuff pop up since I'm not actually able to knit them at the moment. But that was the bathroom. It came together rather quickly. I did decide to give this one a shower bath combo just in case any of them brought pets or any of them had a toddler, which I don't have any toddler stuff in this build, but obviously if you guys wanted someone to have a toddler, you could just switch out the kid's bed for a toddler's bed. And then I'm just placing a couple decorations over there on the dresser. And then I think I placed the movie hangout pictures on this side, and then a couple of end tables, and then I believe I placed some lights on the end tables just to make the room look a little bit more finished. And then going on to the outside, this is where I finish up the pool, but this is pretty much it for this video, so I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to leave a like and to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Bye! Thank you.